Hello, I'm Studied Poet, and I am a poet. Poetry means lots of things to different people, and it's been a big part of my life for the last 9 years when I started writing. Poetry has a lot more to it than just rhyming, and it has a lot more to it than just something that you learn at school that you didn't really want to have to do. I never used to like it, and I thought that it was boring, and I used to think that it would never be something I'd get into. I actually got into it by accident because I was just writing things and they started to turn into poetry by accident. I just liked using words in different ways, and I didn't like the usual way of writing that I saw a lot of other people do. I first did it when I was at school, but not in the way you think. I didn't really do it in classes. I did do it a little bit, but what I did do of it then I didn't like. The real start point of writing for me was when I did it in other lessons. I used to get bored in the lessons that I was doing, and I used to write my own things. The first things I started off were just like humorous, jokey things, and there was a lot of other stuff I wrote as well. Some of it was quite depressing because I was going through depression at the time, and some of it was pretty random, really. But over time, I wrote more and more, and there's more variety and more that I've got out of it. It's also good for mindfulness because it helps you notice things in your surroundings and see things in a different way. It's not only entertaining for the reader, but it's also good release of emotions and opinions and things that you might have kept to yourself, and that way you can pretend you're writing it to somebody else as well, but you can express it in a way that's different to just writing a diary. So why should you get into it? Well, I just listed quite a few reasons, but also because people can learn a lot from it. People can learn from people's experiences, they can share in their beliefs, and it's quite a good way of explaining things that are harder to explain normally. A lot of people might think it's only for older people because it's sort of died out in popularity a lot in the recent years, even decades even, but there are a lot of stuff that is relevant to the modern world if you look for it. One of my favourite poets is Pam Ayres because although she's not traditional, she's still a great writer and can appeal to a lot of people. I'm inspired by her writing, but also I'm inspired by lots of things in my life and other things I've read or watched or heard. I'm even inspired by music in what I write a lot of the time. And I'm a big Frank Turner fan, so his lyrics really help with writing. As for other poets, I do like John Cooper Clarke as well, and his sort of punk sort of writing style. I feel like it's really interesting to read and very unexpected from the genre. I want to create things that lots of people will like, but also not stuff that's going to be super mainstream and already done lots of times before. I want to create my own style, and I have started to write more and more and practice with different ways of expressing these words, and it makes you get better the more you write. And it's good to make notes, and quite often all the time when I write, my best stuff I actually do really quickly, and also I like to write when I'm out. I seem to get my best ideas when I'm traveling or just sitting on a bench or going for a walk. So sometimes trying too hard can make it worse, can ruin your ideas. And I think it's important to write about things honestly and to not try and make out you're better or worse than you are, because I feel like it comes out in the best, the most honest and passionate way when you're totally true about what you're writing. A lot of people will tell you not to bother with poetry or writing or lots of other less, I'd say, sort of conventional types of interests, such as art as well and things like that, because they'll say that you can't get anywhere with it, or that it's a waste of time, or that no one will be interested in it. But the truth is, you got to ignore that, because you should do it for yourself first and foremost anyway. And also, lots of people could say that and they'd never do anything in life, so you can't let those opinions stop you doing things. I so far have written a few books on poetry, and I obviously have interests in other types of writing too, and I'd like to do novel writing, but I feel like poetry is a good start as well, because I found it easier, and I'm sure other people will feel that way too, although there'll be many that will think it's more difficult. But either way, it's a great journey and something to get into, and I hope that I can inspire people to write poetry, and lots of other people can make you feel that it's something good to do with your time and something to enjoy. I print off everything I write, and that's one of the big problems is space, because you need the space to be able to have everything you've written. But I find that a lot of sleeve wallets do pretty well for keeping printouts. Obviously you can write by hand as well, there's no rules on that, but I like to do it by printing stuff out. But yeah, I like to see the progress I make, and I hope other people like reading and or hearing what I've written too. And it'd be good to get other people to get something out of it, not just myself. I only wish that I'd started writing it sooner, because I always knew I wanted to do writing and liked writing, but I wish I'd known about poetry sooner. And it's helped me a lot. I have a lot of other interests too, but it still remains my biggest interest. I hope this has been a good thing to listen to, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this. Thank you.